So Chili and Millie is an animated short documentary about my Puerto Rican family, my parents who currently live in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and it basically tracks my visits home when I would see them over the past many years, and documents my father's declining health with diabetes and kidney failure, and my mother's role as his caretaker. And I think what makes it interesting is that it features this unique idea of animation alongside a documentary project that I shot many years ago, back in 2007. So these 3D animated characters are watching a video documentary of themselves from 2007. So it's like this really cool sort of documentary within a documentary project. I think if you've had a family member, a parent, a relative who suffers through a chronic disease, and knowing that you can help them as much as you can, but in the end, it may not ever feel like enough. I think that there's a universality there that we all sort of feel and we all understand and recognize. So I think that there's a connection there that people will be able to have regardless of your ethnicity, age, gender expression. So I think it's a very universal story about love and loss. Maybe the fact that it's obviously very highly personal. I mean, I guess it's a spoiler alert, but my father did pass away in 2020, 2 years into the pandemic, and I started working on this documentary a little bit less than a year later. So essentially, it was a film that, for me, I would sometimes have a bit of emotional reactions also, but as an artist, it was a way for me to heal myself first and foremost. So I think it was knowing that it spoke to a greater mission within me to really highlight my mom more than anything else and her selflessness. And to that end, I would say that everything else was obviously difficult, getting the set build, animating the characters. That's just the creative process, but it's more of the slight emotional toll when doing a project about a deceased parent that's so so very close to you and to who you are as a person. My dad suffered for many years living through Medicaid. Especially, he was a diabetic when he was 16, and then later developed kidney failure. And I remember what's crazy is in North Carolina, in the mid-90s, he actually got a kidney transplant, and the Medicaid paid for the kidney transplant, but they wouldn't pay for the post-transplant medication. And my father couldn't just go out and find a job just to pay the cost of the medications after receiving this critical transplant. So within a year, his body rejected the medication, and he was back to having kidney failure and suffering again. So basically, I think what's hard is that healthcare is it's like, on the one hand, he got the kidney transplant, but on the other hand, the medication was an added cost. And I think that's really detrimental to our system, is that we allow for these inadequacies to sort of, ruin what could have been a life-saving procedure. And maybe if he had that still, he would still be with us now, I do know that it's going to be on POV, and POV is a PBS series, so it'll actually be shown nationally on TV. And hopefully later this year, depending on what my clients at Latino Public Broadcasting say, I would love to make it freely available online too. But if not, hopefully on POV it will be available. But until then, I'm still showing it in festivals, still trying to get it the recognition it deserves. It premiered at Sundance earlier this year. It later won an award for Best Documentary Short at the Atlanta Film Festival, which means it's qualified for an Academy Award. Just crossing my fingers that it gets nominated. So it's already gone on a really great journey so far, and I'm hoping that it can continue this journey as the months go on. I had a, every filmmaker, independent filmmaker, our dream is to get into, Sundance is like the top tier festival in the United States. And I had been into Sundance in 2017 with a short film featuring 3D printed miniatures of my Puerto Rican grandparents. And when I submitted, it's a crazy statistic, but it's easier to get into Harvard than it is to get your short film program into Sundance. In Sundance, the acceptance rate is 0.5%. So even though I've been in Sundance once, it's always a gamble whether the next project will get in or not. And I submitted, crossed my fingers, and I remember, because usually it's the week before Thanksgiving that you'll get a call if you get into Sundance. And I just remember sort of just looking up and just like asking my dad, his spirit for like good luck, like I would love to get into Sundance again because I want to show this story to the world. And then later that night I get the phone call, and it's just always a life-changing experience. So I knew like, wow, this project is already like hitting the ground running. And so I think that was a great start. But regardless, as long as the story was true to me and true to my parents, that's all that really mattered, I would say. And making a story that would really resonate with them and with the viewer was always more important than what festival it's going to get into. But if you can do both simultaneously, then that's a good thing too. I'm currently working on a feature-length documentary. I also am also trying to do more scripted comedic content. I just finished a short film called Raul Playing Game, which I'm acting in, which is pretty fun, about a closeted bisexual man that accidentally schedules a date with both a man and woman at the same time and same place. And so he has to bounce back and forth between each one. So I'm in Hollywood, and I'm trying to do projects that are very much going to be projects that focus on my family, my culture, but also my identity and any sort of creative ideas that I want to tell. I'm going to really try to thrive throughout and express myself to the best of my creative abilities. You can follow me on Instagram. My name is, it's all one word, William D. Caballero on Instagram. My website is the first three letters of my first and last name, so willcab.com. And you can feel free to follow me or check out my site or follow me on Instagram to learn more about projects and what's going on in the wacky life of a independent Latino filmmaker trying to pursue his dreams no matter what.